Hi everyone, my name is George OGUNBANDE, and today uh, we'll be talking about factors to consider when starting a business. Well, this podcast is will be in two series. One, we'll talk about factors to consider when starting a business, and we'll look at customer service, total quality management that we can add to spice up our business. So, I'll be talking about the 9 factors to consider when starting a business. Almost every individual dream of starting their own businesses. Yet, about 4% of those newly started business reach a 10-year mark. In fact, 50% of those businesses don't even make it to the fifth year. Most people have no idea about the various things to consider when starting a new business. It's hard, it's delicate. In short, when you're starting a new business, you must carefully think about what you want to do. Starting a new business is not just a desire. A lot of people have no idea of what goes into starting a new business. The time, the money, the effort that you put in it, the networks that you need to gather, the patience that is required. Sometimes we all want to start businesses because the other person is doing it. But most times I've realized that if you do that because the other person is doing it or because you want to compete with the other person, you may likely lose interest and lose the main focus of you entering into the business in the first place. Every business want to make profit. Of course, we want to make money. But money should not be your only drive. Meeting the customer needs should be your drive. And in short, creating a need for the customer should be the long run of what you want to do. But that's for another day. Well, let's talk about the 9 basic things that you need. Number 1, you need a business idea. Of course, you need something that you want to sell to people. You need something that the people want. Every business starts with an idea, of course. A super duper idea. That idea that it's like a light bulb in your brain. It pops up. And be like, yes, I want to do this. If you want your business to stand out, you will need to offer something that no one has offered to date. Something that is unique. I call that your unique selling proposition. So these are the following things that you need to sort of answer when considering that idea. Number 1, what do I need to do to make this better? What is it that I can do better than what the other guys are doing? Will I be able to grab some market share in this category? Because it is important, right? To make that your idea the best. Number 2, to make it better than what other people are doing. Number 3, how to grab some market share. Your business idea may be really great, but unless it solves someone's problem, it's not going to work. It's just an idea, and nobody's going to buy into it. So start listening to the frustrations of people. Start listening to the request of people. Start listening to what the people want in your surrounding, in your environment. So once you can get that, then you can do these 3 things. See what best you can to do that to address this frustration. So you discover that there is a problem with let's say around you. Let me use a common example. People love bread around you. and you discover that the the people in your surrounding have to walk about 1 kilometer to get bread. Two things you have discovered. Number one, they need bread. Number two, you have a market share. You have people who are willing. Immediately you start that bread, some people are willing to buy that bread from you. So you have solved two things here. You have discovered the problem and you've seen customers who will patronize you. So see what best you can do to address this frustration. Identify the skill in you that will help you offer the right solution. And number three, find out if you're actually passionate about offering that solution. Number one, see how best you can do to address the frustration. Let me go back to my example. You want to make bread, and you see that people sort of have to go like 1 kilometer for them to get bread. Number one, you have discovered a problem. So what you do is to see how best you can address those frustrations. What can you do? Two things. Is it that you want to go and get bread and bring it to your environment? So, which means that you have to go the 1 kilometer, buy, loaves of bread and bring it to that environment so that people won't have to go that far to get bread, or you want to start your own bakery. These are the two things you need to consider. Number two, identify the skill in you that will help you offer the right solution. It is important that in as much as we have discovered what the people want, in as much as you've discovered how to address the frustrations, you must also identify the skill. What method are you going to use? The skill in you that can help you to offer the right solution for that problem. Number three, find out if you're actually passionate about offering that solution. Now, you may you may discover a problem. You may want to meet a need. But maybe 2 weeks down the line, you're not passionate about it anymore. You know, you that at the beginning of the business, you can wake up at 6 a.m., go 1 kilometer to get the bread for everybody. But 1 month down the line or 2 weeks down the line, you can't even get up from your bed by 7:30. You've lost interest. The passion is no more there. So it is important to know actually if you're passionate about this dream or not. This is one of the most important things that you have to discover. If it's something that you're just doing just for doing sake, then you probably not be able to last long in the business. After you've discovered these three things, then you have a business idea, you know, and not just a business idea that works. Number two, remember, I'm still talking about what are the 9 factors to consider when starting a business. So, number two, I'm going to be talking about knowledge or expertise. So, once you know what business you want to start, you have to start getting the required knowledge for it. If you need to attend seminars, you attend seminars. If you need to read books, you read books. If you need to contact people who have done it before you contact people who have done it before you. If you need to work under a similar business, work for a similar business, you need to do it because it takes a lot of research and a lot of planning to be able to get the end result at the end of the day. If you don't do research, if you don't plan, your business won't pick up. Your business idea won't take off from the ground. As they say, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Whatsoever you know, you are empowered to perform. Whatsoever that you know, you are empowered to perform. So, what can you do? Having a business plan can be really advantageous in this situation. It will tell you whether your business has a place in the market and if the idea is profitable enough for you to go ahead. If you have the knowledge, you can construct one all by yourself. If not, you can always hire a professional, a business consultant, an accountant, to draw up a business plan for you. Meanwhile, while you're doing that, you still have to continue to do your research. You still have to continue to be up to date. Know what is obtainable in the market. Know why the other competitor is advancing or is not advancing. Know the good things that he's doing, know the bad things that he's doing. And know the things that he's not so good at. Because that's where you come in. That's where you will capitalize on. Number 3, market or demand. Once you are sure that you want to start this business, your next step is to explore the market, is to create a demand. Because the demand will create a market for you. So start by answering these questions. Who are my customers? Who am I really selling my products to? So if you are doing a local business, you may have to assess the demand for it. Well, in case you're taking up an international level, you may have to understand the rules and regulations that are obtainable in that place. You have to do a market survey. The market survey should basically include or should analyze the current size of the market, number 1, the growth potential of the market. So how long will it take for the business to grow or for the market to grow? Number 3, the market share that you can expect to take. So out of 100%, how many percent market share are you taking? Are you taking 10%? Are you taking 12%, 10, 20%, 100%? Well, so you have to understand the market share that you are taking. Definitely, if you have other competitors around you, you're splitting the market share. It doesn't matter. You may take more at the end of the day, right? But you're still splitting the market share. Number 4, the buying habits of your target audience. So you must understand whether they are willing to come back again and again and again to buy your product. The different market segments, and lastly, the kind of margin that you can expect from the market. What kind of margin can you expect? What kind of profit margin? Let me put it that way. What kind of profit margin you can expect when you are delivering the service? Well, thankfully we have social media. Social media now will help us, has always been a tool for us to market our product. It has always been a tool for us to reach our target audience. So one way in doing this is to use social media. Use whatever social media is comfortable for you. Number 4, your startup cost. Remember, we are still talking about the 9 factors to consider when starting a business. And I said, number 1, a business idea. Number two, knowledge or expertise. Number three, market or demand. And we are now at number four. Number four, your startup cost. Estimating your startup cost is one of the very important things to consider when you're starting a business. You have to assess the total cost required, set up a running cost, set up an overhead cost in order to successfully start that business. So let's say if you are willing, if you let's say you are thinking of starting a manufacturing plant, for instance, your startup will be high, obviously, because you need to buy machines, different type of machines, raw materials. You need to have a land that's a property that you want to start up with. You need to employ as little as five, as more as 1,000. You know, so those are the things that you need to consider when starting up that kind of business magnitude. So, in the case of, let's say, starting a retail business, right, you may need to consider, things like cost of the store. Are you renting? Are you buying? Are you building? Furniture required. If you need decorations on the store, office space, uh, different things that you think that you need to start up that retail business. So once your business is set up, you know, you have to think about working capital needed to run your business. You have to take into account the inventory that you need. You have to maintain a good credit balance, uh, especially with your suppliers. Some people look for suppliers who can, for a startup business, always look at somebody who is a supplier who is flexible. Now, a supplier who doesn't always require you to pay upfront, right? So, customer can give you, um, let's say, the product, and in turn, you can pay at a later date. Some suppliers do it, but some require that you build some form of rapport with them before you can qualify for that kind of credit. Number five, capital or finance. Remember that no business in this world can run without money. Depending on the kind of business you're running or depending on the kind of business you're starting, the initial costs may vary. So it is important that you know what capital is needed. Whatever step that you take, remember that financing your business is very important. And you must understand and know the required funds as required for the startup phase. Because every phase of your business um, require different funding. Now, in another podcast, I'll be talking about the phases of businesses. Right, the beginning phase. I'll be talking. So you know where your business is, and you know what kind of strategy to use. The finance pattern is one of the most important factors to consider before starting any business. So this includes capital that you introduce from your savings, capital that you borrow from your friends, from your family, your personal saving, uh, uh, maybe your friends borrowed you money or your parents borrowed you money. That is the capital that you introduced into the business. So it is important that the capital that you have introduced into that business must be used for initial funding stage. So these are like short-term funds, right? So These are the funds that we use to start up the business, to keep the business rolling, and to keep the business running. So that you must know. You must know how much is required to start up that business. You must know how much it will take to 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 get that money back when you have started the business. Number six, your competition. Unless you know who your competitors are, whatever you do, you just be, roller coaster. You just be going on a roller coaster. If you don't know who your competitors are, then you'll probably be either be undercharging or be overcharging. So you ask me, what if my product is a monopoly competition? Will it not matter? Or does it matter? Well, if your product is a monopoly competition, it matters. It matters to know um, what are the other products, not direct competitors, but companies or products or businesses that can directly affect or indirectly affect your product. So, I will take, for example, let's say I'm looking for an example to give. Let's say you're selling cement, right? You're selling cement, and you know that in selling cement, you need granite. Well, in building that house, maybe somebody wants to build a house, and you need granite, you need sand, you know those things. So what you must realize is when you're selling that cement, you must understand what are the other things that are around selling the cement. If you are a competitor, if you're a monopoly, for instance, and you're the only one selling that cement in that area, you can decide to jack up your price as many times as possible because you know that it's an essential product people will always buy. Even if granite, the price of granite is low, is really, you are still in a good position to jack up your product because you know that you are a monopoly sort of. Nobody is competing with you in cement. So you can decide to keep jacking up your prices as much as you can. Gaining a market share should be on top of your mind. So once you have entered that business, the struggle for that market share should be what you want to gain. And the only way you can get that market share is when people trust your product, when people are willing to patronize you, and when people patronize you, they are not disappointed. So you ask yourself, if there is a huge demand for the product, this shouldn't be too difficult. If not, you may have to strengthen the position of your business to gain an entry into the competitive market. Analyzing competition includes getting to know your competitors, number one, figuring out how they have positioned themselves, identifying their pricing and marketing strategies, and evaluating their strengths and weaknesses. So remember, when you are analyzing your competitors, you must get to know them. You must get to know your competitors. Who are the people around you? Who are the people that are in the same business as you are? So you must figure out how to position yourself or how they have positioned themselves. So these two things, you must figure out how you can position yourself and how they have positioned themselves if they are market leaders. Identifying their pricing and marketing strategy. Remember, I said you must know your competitors so that you not charge too much or too little. So right pricing is really important. You must understand marketing strategies. So what are the marketing strategies you want to use to push your product or your service to people? So, and lastly, you must evaluate their strength and weaknesses. So there's something they call SWOT analysis. So strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So you must be able to know their strength, you must be able to know their weaknesses, you must be able to know their opportunities. What are the things that they need to improve on? That's what I mean by opportunities. And their threats. So what are the things that can threaten you and your service and your product? How can you also threaten their product or service? Once you have all this information, then you know who your target audience is. If you can do this well, you will survive no matter how tough that competition is. Number 7, location, location, location. Location is a very, very important aspect of starting a business. You want to start a business where it's easily accessible. You want to start a business where, especially, take for example, if you're starting a retail business, you want to look for a well-populated area that is easily accessible. Those are the things that are really, really important. If it is a manufacturing business, let's say it's a manufacturing unit, for example, you want to choose a location where you can save money. So what are the things that you're saving money on? Electricity, water, taxis, transportation. You don't want to stay in a remote area where you have to spend a lot to transport your goods to the populated area. So look for a place where manpower is easily available, where the raw materials can be easily sourced. You know, look for a location where you can get rebates, when you can get subsidies, when you can get, you know, tax tax rebate, tax subsidy, from the government. If yours is like let's say you have like a niche product or service, so you may look for a single location where your competitors are. For instance, let's say if you have a software company, you may have to look for a software belt where all the software companies, have set up their shops. Similarly, the ideal location for a good vendor, a jeweler, would be a good mat, like a gold mat. I mean, so if you're a gold vendor, let's say you're a good vendor, you may want to look for a place where you have gold mats around. So, in essence, what I'm saying is be in a place where your raw materials can be easily fetched if you are in manufacturing units, if you're somebody that deals with raw materials. And if you're into retail, look for a place where people can easily access your business. A populated area, an area that is easily accessible by road. Don't don't put your business or your retail service in an area that uh, people wouldn't really see. And that's why you see most businesses put their business by the roadside, especially the retail businesses. Number 8, staff. Your staff members are really important. Your staff members are the one that can make or break your business. Without an efficient manpower, no business can succeed. That said, an efficient staffing strategy needs to be put in place. If you want to reduce your staff placement expenses, you must make sure that you, at the beginning of your recruitment, put in an efficient staffing strategy. If you want to hire a recruiting agency or use various, recruitment tools to fill your position, you must make sure that you use a recruiting agency that will not only do the job but not cost you a lot. Number nine, technology. Technology is one thing that you can never compromise on when you're starting a new business. Especially in our business world today, technology is one thing that you have to use. Whether it's an office equipment, whether it's a plant and machinery, whether it's a software that is required to monitor your business, whether it's a sales software, um, whether it's a POS system that you need for your day-to-day transaction, technology is an integral part of our business, of today's, especially the 21st century business. So, I'm going to discuss some of the few steps you can follow when considering or when choosing the right technology for your business. Number one, access the requirement of your business. So, you have to look at your business and know what kind of technology to use. For instance, if you're into a retail business, you need some form of a POS system that can take all the products that you're selling. If you're into food, for instance, you can get a POS system, or you can install a software that will give you access to all the food options. Number two, make sure that the technology you choose helps in making things run smoothly. So make sure that that technology that you're using, that software that you're using, helps the business to run well. It's not creating problem for the business. Consider leasing technology equipment if you want to stay up to date. So if you're looking at staying up to date with softwares and stuff, it is important that you can maybe lease that technology, not abstractly buy it. Because sometimes it's not even sometimes, most times it's more expensive when you buy those technology. But if you lease them, once a new version of that technology comes out, you can always swap. Number four, always have a backup plan. Always have a backup plan. So if you are using a technology, always have a backup plan. What is your backup plan? What is your where are you storing your information in? What device are you storing the information? Don't just rely on that technology alone, right? Have something that you're also storing your information. Some do technology and writing it down in a book, right? It depends on what you are comfortable doing, right? But always make sure that you have a backup plan. Number five, make sure you have the required support for installing, upgrading, troubleshooting, and repairing the technology that you choose. So you must have the proper support. So if anything happens to that technology, have a proper support, know the person that you can contact. It may not necessarily be expensive, but know the person that you can contact that can help you fix the technology when it's broken. And lastly, invest in training so that you can make the maximum use of your technology. Invest in training. Train your staff. Train yourself, so that you can maximize the use of that technology. Make sure that people who are important, people who are required to learn that technology, know it inside and out. So that if anything happens, there can be multiple people who have access to it. So when trying to start a new business, you can see that there's a lot of doors that get slammed on you on your face every time. A lot of people trying to shut you down, and a zillion can't and don't from you all over the place. Uh, but you must develop this can-do attitude. You must develop this can-do attitude. You must believe and trust that this business can go far. Because if you don't, Your business will just be an idea. It won't leap. It won't pick up. So dreaming big is not only the only thing that is needed to start a business. You will also need to believe that the dream and the work you have put towards achieving it will yield positive results. So, apart from these above factors um, that I've listed, uh, there are others. There's another one. In fact, every business can benefit from web presence, whether it's a website or it's a social media page or it's an online brochure. Web presence is really important. A lot of businesses are going, digital, going online. Businesses are selling their product on social medias, most especially. It is important. It is important that you take advantage of social media that's available. Look for the social media that will best suit your business. If you can do a website, why not if not? Do a website because that will also help you to go international, to also help you to attract people, to attract more market share. But if you can't do a website, make sure that you're on social media. Let people be able to recognize you on social media. It is very, very important in today's business. So, 9 factors to consider before starting a business. Let me recap. Number 1, I said a business idea, knowledge or expertise, market or demand. Number 3. Number 4, startup costs. Number 5, capital and finance. Number 6, competition. Number 7, location. Number 8, staff or staffing. And number 9, lastly, technology. So when you add all this together, you will see that these are the elements that you must consider when you want to start a business. If you have answered these 9 questions, then you're ready to start. But if you have not answered all these 9 questions, then go back to your notes, go back to your idea, and look for how these 9 questions can be answered. And once you've answered it, you'll see that the sky is not just your limit, it's your starting point. You'll see that you will be able to have a grip and have a niche and take a proper percentage of the market share. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to throw me any questions. Thank you. Have a good day.